Hello, everyone, and welcome back to part two of our conversation with Dennis Bullock, who has just shared his two life altering spiritual experiences with us. And now he is here to share with us the incredible downloads he received from the other side. You know, Dennis, as I was preparing for our interview, it dawned on me that my own spiritual awakening began while listening to near death experiences on YouTube. Like you, I had lost my joy for life. I was embroiled in a never ending custody battle with
Mhm.
my ex husband, and I just did not want to live anymore. And I began listening to hundreds of near death experiences, one after the other. I had no idea why I was so drawn to them, but the near death experience accounts were the most real thing for me, even more real than my own human experience. And finally, I came across this woman's page who had committed suicide and was revived. And she very matter of factly said, we all reincarnate here over and over again with our soul families, and we exchange roles with one another to have different experiences. And I just remember after hearing that, just having a visceral reaction to that.
Mhm.
It was as if I had been holding my breath for years and I was finally able to breathe. I had
Mhm.
finally found the truth of who we are. And this is exactly why I think it is so very important that we create the space for you and others to share your downloads and your wisdom with us, because it is the near death experience that enables us to hear the truth. Many of us have been told so many lies and exaggerations about death, hell, judgment, and God's vengeance, that it's left many of us in fear. So, this is why I believe that what you, Dennis, and others like you, when you're sharing your wisdom, I believe it's holy work. I believe what you're doing is holy work. Would you agree?
Oh, I think it's holy work, but I also think it's love work. I mean, which is the same. Um, uh, I think it it offers clarity and you resolve things that you didn't know. Even in my own personal life, with the downloads, I resolved so much, and it all rings so true in my soul. It all said, "Oh yeah, that feels right. That's right. Yeah, these downloads. Yeah, that's right." And some of the downloads were quite amazing. Like totally changed my idea about religions and stuff like that. But yes, for sure, people sharing these experiences are getting people more in touch with their own light, which is inside of them, because we all are great. There is no um, someone is more greater than another on the other side.
Mm.
That's one of my downloads. But I want to tell you before I go on to the second part, if that's okay, if you have more questions.
Absolutely.
Um, After I got out of the hospital, I had some kind of gift that I didn't have before. Um, I went on to play with my band. We were playing in a place called Mont Roland in Canada, and it was a snowstorm that day, and nobody came to the club. It was like a day kind of gig, daytime music, but nobody was there because it was a snowstorm. So it was only the waitresses. So I I grabbed one. I told one of the waitresses, "Come on over here. I want to tell you for your future for fun." I wanted to have some fun. I was bored, and the band, it was only, like I said, only two people in the place. I said, "Give me your left hand," and just like that, no thought about it. And I said, I didn't know her from a hole in the wall. And I said, "Your boyfriend is paraplegic." I said, he blames you for his handicap. I said, in 3 months from now, you're going to meet a guy you're going to love, you're going to fall in love with, and you're going to leave this boyfriend and you're going to marry this guy. And that's it. And I threw her hand off like that. And I finished my beer, was not thinking about nothing. And the only thing that was strange is that she didn't say a word while I was talking. Like she didn't say nothing. There was no laughing or nothing. But I had a few beers, so I didn't really think about it so much. So I said, okay. And she walked away. Now, a year later, we played that same club. 1 year later. And as we were playing, we came from a break. She ran up to me and she said, did you know that everything you told me was true? And I said, no, can't be. No way. I said, no way. I said, your boyfriend was paraplegic? She said, yes. I said, he blamed you for his handicap? She said, yes. You met a guy 3 months after? She said, yes. You got married? And then she didn't even say yes. She just showed me the wedding ring. And when she did that, the bumps, hairs up and down my arm went straight up. And I said, oh my God, am I an alien? What happened? What's happening to me? And my band looked at me. They made me laugh. My band looked at me and said, well, you're turning into Nostradamus, man? What's going on? And then there was another incident. And then I knew that I somehow I must have some kind of gift. I don't know. Then another incident happened where the band, we used to go to these places after work called after hours. Now, after hours, what they do is they stay open, like when the normal clubs close, they stay open like from 3 o'clock until 7 or 8 in the morning. Okay. And these are places that stay open, but you still can have a drink and talk with people quietly. And it's a cool place. And there was some doorman at this club, but this time the doormen were friendly. They were cool with us and they were good friends with the band. They loved the band, you know. And but they still were huge guys, huge, like Hulk Hogan type huge, you know, world wrestling type of guys. And this one Thursday, I had this premonition or dream or premonition that this particular friend shouldn't go out this weekend. Now, I was doubting myself. I said, yeah, but if I tell him not to go out, he's going to think I'm crazy. And anyway, I said, he's so big. I said, who's going to mess with this guy? You have to be out of your mind if you want to mess with this guy. Just from the look alone, the guy's tall, huge. I mean, two of me would make one of his arms. You know, he was huge. And I said, I doubted myself. I said, I don't think I should tell him. So the Friday came, or no, Saturday came, and I saw him, and I was thinking about telling him, but I said, nah, you're going to think I'm crazy, and I'm not going to tell him. I won't tell him. So I didn't tell him that Saturday, and the next day, the Sunday, we had a gig, and I was coming to the after hours again. And this time he was not there. Instead, there was another bouncer and he was just crying. Tears were rolling down his face. And I said, hey, man, what's wrong? And he said, you didn't hear about it? I said, hear about what? And the guy's name was Noonie. And he said, I said, Noonie's he's dead. I said, what? Dead? I said, how? He said, he met a girl on Saturday night, and they went to a hotel, and she waited till he fell asleep, and she slashed his throat. They caught her, but he had lost too much blood because he was sleeping, and I ended up going to his funeral. And after that, I said, if I get information about the President of the United States, I'm going to tell him. I said, I'm never going to withhold information. Now, later on, as I got used to this gift and stuff like that, I learned that it could have been, was it his destiny to leave, or was it his free will? And it could be both. It could have been that he wanted to leave, his soul wanted to leave. And also it could be, I was struggling a little bit with because I didn't tell him, that was the guilt, I would call it, because I didn't really know how this gift kind of worked, it was new at it. So, but later on, I came to peace with that situation, because soul knows everything, and it's always the soul's choice. And even if it might look like something else in the physical world, the bottom line is always the soul's choice. So I was able to kind of let myself forgive myself and move on with life about the gift and that everything. And then I was helping people with their health, and I do readings. I can see people's health. I can see anybody that has a loved one, or anybody that you hate also, because people you love and people you hate, you have a connection to them. You have an energetic connection to them. And yeah, and that's basically about it. And then I got, like I said, I have all these downloads of information, which was total controversial to what I believed before that experience. Total, almost the opposite of what I believed before. I was raised in a Christian home. So in the Christian home, I mean, I died high, so I was supposed to go to hell, but I didn't go to no hell. And so that part of the ideas about the religion was starting to go out the window. I also learned that there were more than one Jesus. That's another thing. I also learned that there was a Christ consciousness that does exist. It's just under unconditional love in the other side. I also learned that what Christ was saying and what people are interpreting was not all the way correct. Christ was not saying, at least in my downloads, that he was not saying that you only have to go through me and that's it and nobody else. That's wrong. There's many roads to the mountain, many. And I can go on with an example of, what about the boy in the Amazon who've never heard of Christ, and he dies? Does he get condemned because of that? It's all about his heart. It's not about a name or a person. It's about his heart. Where's his heart at? But these downloads told me a lot of information, also about heaven and hell and all that. Hell, here's another thing that blew me out the way, is that hell, if anybody dies and experiences hell, it's only because they have created it in this life. And they are the creators, not God. Yeah. They are the creators, because your soul is so powerful that what you believe in this life, you actually create on the other side. So if you go to hell, like, for example, there's hundreds of people that say, hey, I've been to hell and blah, 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 and it's terrible and blah, blah, blah. And they're back to talk about it. And I say, well, if according to your religion, you're never supposed to come out of hell. You're there forever. You're never supposed to come out. How come you came out? It's because they have created that. And once their soul realizes, hey, it's me that's creating this whole place, they leave. And it's the same with heaven, by the way. People go to heaven and they may see Mary, they may see Jesus, and they don't hardly see anybody else. And there's nothing happening. And they say, well, it's boring here. Nothing's going on. And they realize that they've created it first in their mind. They believed it, they created it. And also they believed that nobody else was good enough to get into heaven. So now it's why it's a lonely place. There's nobody hardly there and nothing going on. And they realize, hey, wait a minute, it's me that created this place. It's me. Because on the other side, every place is heaven because it's God. Every place, the galaxy, the stars, the ocean, a beach, whatever, it's God, it's heaven. It's all light. It's all God. All. Nothing is not God.
Yes.
So that's one of my downloads. And the what was it? The other thing? Oh, big thing. There is no right or wrong on the other side. Only perception and experience. That's it. Now, people often tell me, well, what about those people who take a child and kill it and torture it and mutilate it? And I say, the first thing is that your soul, the minute that you start to experience any kind of death or any kind of thing that could kill you, seconds before it happens, your soul leaves your body. You often can hear about it when you see somebody who's going to have a car accident. And they often tell you, I wasn't even there. Seconds before, everything slowed down, time slowed down, and I wasn't even there on the impact. I don't know what happened, because your soul leaves your body. So nobody experiences, this is my download, nobody experiences murder. They don't experience it. Nobody experiences tragic death. They don't experience it. They don't experience the death. Now, some souls are so surprised because when you go to the other side, it's so much like here. There's some exception. You feel a little bit lighter, just slightly lighter, but you're you. You keep your personality. If you like to laugh, you laugh. If you don't, you don't. But you keep your personality on the other side. But there is a lighter you. There's no more stress. There's no more. It was the thing I noticed with my experience, that I felt like, wow, relieved. It was not, oh my God, I'm dead. Oh, no, it was the opposite. It was like, whew, that heavy coat is off me now. That's great. That heavy bag I was carrying, that backpack, it's off now. I feel lighter. I feel good. So there is no right or wrong, only perception. And there's vibration. That's another thing. Frequency and vibration are very important on the other side. People who are negative vibrations, God sees them as taking the long road home. Mm-hmm. People on high vibrations, God sees them as taking the short road home. Now, for example, Napoleon, who killed a lot of people in the French Revolution and all that stuff, when he dies, what happens to him? Well, he dies, and what's left? His soul. What is his soul made out of? Love. Yeah. God, and there's no hierarchy. People like to, in earth terms, this person is more important than that person. In God's eyes, Jesus is your brother.
Yes.
He's not your father, or he's not over you, and there's Jesus and then there's you. They're the same. He's like your brother. Oh, Jesus is my brother. Yes. And even in Jesus's sayings, he tried to tell you that I do these great works, but guess what? You could even do greater. Why would he say that? If he's the God of God and you're you? No, because you're equal. Yes. And that's another thing about the Bible. That was another download that, sorry if anybody is against that, but all the Bible is not correct. Okay. There's been, they've translated it in a bad way. They've manipulated it. King James has manipulated it. The priests have manipulated. Rome manipulated it. It's so many manipulations in it that you can't take everything in the Bible as literal. You cannot. Some things are true. So I'm not telling you that the whole Bible is wrong. No, that's not true. But some things are not. Some things were put in there to make you afraid, to make you obedient. Okay, and God is not about fear. God is not about revenge. And also karma. Here's another biggie. This was a biggie for me. I said, what? There's no karma? No karma. Only frequency. It's like a radio station. If you are killing people, you put yourself on a certain frequency. And that frequency means that you're killing someone, but also guess what? You can be killed too. Mm-hmm. If you are on that frequency. And that's what it's all about. It's not about, I have to do this and now I'm going to get paid back. No, no. Or I did this in another lifetime and now I'm going to get paid back for something that, or you're born, here's the other one. There's no sin either. You're born and you're a sinner already. A baby's a sinner already. What has he done? What has she done? Nothing. This is all false. This is all made to have you immediately from the day one that you come onto the earth in fear. Yes. Okay. Here's another biggie. Now, this is it's probably going to be hard for a lot of people, but I'm going to tell you because that's what I'm telling you. What I got. Earth is a game. It's not as serious as we take it on in the earth. It's not as serious. It is a game. The reason why we're here, the reason why we come here is to experience. That's all. Now, I'll give you an example. On the other side, you might know everything about how to drive a car. You know the book, you know all the things, but you never experienced the actual driving, physical driving of a car. You never did it. So you come to earth to experience certain things, to experience. That's all. You know everything on the other side, but you didn't experience. So you come to experience it. Also, I got the earth. Oh yeah, by the way, the earth is a soul, by the way, playing a role for other souls to experience. The earth game was created by a bunch of souls. Okay, they created this game and they wanted that souls were able to experience third density, which is 3D, third dimension. Okay. Now, the earth made a deal with these souls, and I want to repeat this. This is important. No soul can control another soul. No soul can control any other soul. You always have to ask permission from the other soul, always. So the earth soul said, I will play this game of 3D or third density where there's duality, where there's no love, where there's loneliness, where there's anger, where there's all kinds of negative energies as well as positive for a couple billion years. But when the billion years is up, I want to raise my vibration up to 5D, back up, closer to God. I want to do that because I'll be tired by then of playing this game. So in 2012, that's when the billion years were up. And that's when she began to raise this vibration. And also the other souls that created this game said, no, you can't. We want you to play longer. You can't. Now, what Mother Earth said was, no, I'm finished. I'm going to leave. But what she did was she made a call out to the universe to bring other souls to be born into the earth. Now, I'll give you an example to help her raise her frequency. She could do it by herself, but it would take longer. It's like if you want to move to a new apartment, and if you did everything by yourself with no help, it's going to take you longer to get there, right? But if you call your friends, they're going to help you and you're going to get there a lot faster. And that's what she did. And these friends are souls that were born as children or light workers, we call them, to help her raise her frequency. And what they do is just by being here and being happy, you raise the earth's frequency also, not only yours. And so that's what we're in now. My download about now is that we are in a vibrational change of the earth. You can even check it in science. The Schumann resonance has risen. It's normally 7.8. It's now 10 or 11. Okay, you can check that out. That's the electrical pulse around the earth that's vibrating. The earth is rising, so there's more light and more love coming into the earth, even though the media and the governments are trying to get you to look at a darker picture of the earth. It's not true. The other thing is, what else to get my downloads on? I think, well, if you have any more questions, you can ask me questions now.
Wow, all I can say is like my head, I was just nodding my head up and down the whole time you were talking, everything you said, even to the point where you said there was more than one Jesus. I've heard that actually from a very credible source. Jesus himself actually through a channel saying that there is more than one accounting of his life.
Yeah, you can see it. He was in India, was in France, was in many different places, and it's impossible for him to be at those places and at the same time. It wasn't, and that's yeah.
This is why I had you on, Dennis. Not only because you have had a near-death experience, but that not many, but everything that you have asserted has been consistent with what I teach and what we all know in this group and what my listeners know to be true. Which is so.
One of your listeners is holding up a book. I see it. Oh, A Course in Miracles. Yeah.
A Course in Miracles. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. And other books. Conversations with God. I mean,
right. Books. Yeah. There's plenty
out there. And that's the thing that we were talking about with the truth. The truth is consistent, no matter what source. If it's the truth, it's gonna stay the same. I know I know Jasmine, you've had your hand raised. Would you like to ask Dennis a question? And you're muted. Okay.
It's not like entirely a question, but I just appreciate you sharing your story.
Oh, thank you, Jasmine. Thank you so much. I appreciate that you're listening, that you hear it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. You're so sweet. That's my daughter.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Jasmine, you got a wonderful mother, huh?
Yes.
And you're a wonderful girl. You really, I see your smile and I see your light.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that, Jasmine. Khadidra has her hand raised, and then Greg has a question. You can either ask your question or I'll ask it for you. Khadidra, did you want to
ask? Yes, good morning. First of all, thank you both. Thank you, Loretta, for facilitating this magic. This is just, it's been a lot. Like I have like so many questions. I know I can't ask them all because it wouldn't be fair. But thank you. And thank you, Dennis, for sharing your story and being so vulnerable with us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I was sitting in a chair. I was literally at the edge of it. It was a folding chair. I almost like had to be stable because I was listening to everything that you were telling us. So I'm going to pick one of my questions that I have, because I do have a lot.
Okay.
I really want to know from you, like, how are you memorializing this? Like, are you writing a book, or like, how are you memorializing everything?
Well, I do plan to write a book, but it's just going to take a little while with my schedule because I have so many clients. Because the time we're living in is the time of change, of vibrational change, and people are confused, people are depressed, people are even suicidal sometimes. And so I try to help, and my schedule is really very tight, also with my music and everything. So, but I do plan on writing a book, and I definitely, I consider Loretta like a lifelong friend right now. And I will definitely let her know when it's out and where people can pick it up at.
Wow. Okay. Because you know so much, and I'm just wondering, like, how is he going to like memorialize this to share with the world, to make sure that everyone can learn from you. And just one more quick question, and then I'll give it back. So I wrote down, said, does everyone that has an NDE choose to come back? Does everyone have that choice? Or are there people that want to come back but are not allowed to?
Okay. Sometimes the thing is this, when you have to know this, sometimes people will see their higher self that will give them to tell them you should go back. For example, angels sometimes may appear in something that's comfortable for you if you've died a traumatic death, just that you're more comfortable, because some people are disorientated because it's so close to this life. You feel like, hey, I'm not dead. And actually, really, you're not dead. You're more alive than you've ever been. But they say it feels almost the same. You know, for some slight differences if they would only investigate more. But some people have to go back for reasons that they had made a soul agreement, because we make agreements. For example, we have a soul group and we make agreements. You know, I don't like to say contracts, but we make agreements. And we might say, well, you agreed that you're going to be so-and-so's mother, and now you want to leave that. You know, you're not keeping your agreement. You see? So, and these soul groups, they reincarnate most of the time at the same time, and they exchange roles. Sometimes they're the father, you're the son. You know, you say, I want to go into a life, and then another soul of your soul group will come and say, well, I want to be your son if you go into a life. Hey, I want to be your best friend. I want to be your boyfriend. I want to be your girlfriend, whatever. I want to be your dog or your cat. That's another download that I forgot to mention, is that, by the way, dogs and cats are souls. They're just playing a role for you. Cats are healers, by the way. Dogs are for you to have fun. They like to play. That they're meant that you don't take life seriously. That's why dogs always want to play. That's their job. Cats are different. They're independent and they are healers. If you pet a cat, you can actually be healed and raise your vibration. Cats are healers. That's what I got from the download from the other side. And they're souls, by the way. So if you die and you see a dead animal that you had as a pet, it may appear to you that at first, but eventually it will warp into the soul that it is. They're souls. Okay. I don't know if I hope that did I answer your question?
No, you did. You did. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Wow, that was an excellent question. Thank you, Khadidra. So we have a question from Greg.
First of all, fantastic. I love your story. I can see why Loretta loves you.
Thank you.
A lot of it resonates with myself. I actually have my girlfriend here. We're kind of listening to you and just nodding our heads. So thank you for being here. Loretta, thank you for hosting.
Thank you.
I know I usually ask this question of all of Loretta's guests. In your interpretation, what is the meaning of life? I know that you said we're here sort of like on a stage, a game. What is really the meaning of life? Or did you answer that? It's just to experience things.
I'm here for your question. So for me, the meaning of life is to experience and to share this love. Love is the key to the game. So the meaning is to experience. That's it. That's what your soul has come here to do. It's not to prove anything. It has. Oh yeah. Let me iterate. Get this very clear. This is one of my downloads. Your soul did not come here to grow. Your soul did not come here to learn something. You know everything. You are perfect. Your soul came here to experience. You're already perfect on the other side. You have knowledge of millions of universes and galaxies. You can create a galaxy with your thought, with one thought.
That's incredible.
The other big thing I'm going to lay, here's the bomb of my downloads. We all are gods. Gods with a big G. We are able to have multiple lives at the same time.
Right.
We're able to divide ourselves at the same time. We can experience multiple dimensions at the same time, multiple feelings at the same time. You can even hear some near-death experiencer says, I was in a hospital, but I was experiencing what they were feeling at my house. That's multiple awareness, multiple consciousness of awareness. We are gods and with the big G.
That is wonderful, because I've come to the conclusion that we are all God, and Loretta has too, but we're different perspectives of God, adding our experiences to one. Can I ask two more questions? And I'm
Yes.
sorry, but hopefully everyone else appreciates
okay.
the questions. What is your take on present moment? And in this game of Earth, there is no past or future. There's just the present moment. In fact, time is an illusion. Any thoughts on that?
Well, first thing, time is an illusion, but there's, on the other side is now time,
okay,
which is everything happening at once.
Present
And
moment.
then there's the time we're living in, which is more like, think of it as a line of rooms, different rooms from 1 to 5. Now, we're in this room, so we're experiencing that. But in the other side, we see all the rooms. We see all the rooms. Imagine the rooms, the 5 rooms have no walls. So we see in all the rooms at the same time.
Right.
But on the earth, we can only see in one room at a time. You see? That's the difference between now time and the time we're living in.
Okay, one last question. What is your comment or thoughts when I say these terms to you? Infinite love, one consciousness / source. We're all just one, like one consciousness or God or source. And each of us as human beings on this earth are just that. We're all gods, or we're different perspectives of it, or specks of God.
Okay, well, the thing is,
wow,
it's a very interesting question. The thing is, we are God and we are part of God. We all have our personal consciousness of us as an individual, but we also share the consciousness of God, and that's where the God that created everything. And we all, my perspective on it is that it's kind of like a drop of water from the ocean. You're the drop of water, but you're still part of the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the only thing is that you have the powers of the ocean still, all the powers of the ocean, but you're still a drop of water, but you're a part of that. So your consciousness is aware of where you are today, right now. But as you go on the other side, this expands. And here's the other thing. There are timelines, which means infinite possibilities. And it depends on what you put your focus on, which timeline you put your focus on. Now, the earth right now is in a vibrational change. She is leaving. And she will leave behind 2 timelines at one point soon. One timeline will be 3D, and the other timeline will be 5D, 5th dimension. 5th dimension will be so thin a veil between 5th dimension and the other side. In fact, in 5th dimension, you can go to the other side and stay or come back. That's how powerful the 5th dimension will be. It's only will be love. There will be no duality in 5th dimension. Now, there's also dimensions. There's 3D and there's 4D. 4th dimension is going to be slightly more duality, There'll be more sects as religion. There'll be some, but there'll be a better understanding about time, as you were talking about. But fifth dimension will be total love. You'll be able to communicate with the plants, the animals. There'll really be no need to cook food or kill animals for food. Everything will be through thought. You can create, if you want to create a hamburger, you can create one without killing an animal, just with your thought. The earth is rising in vibration, and I can't express this enough. That's why it's important, if you want to be a part of that 5D situation, to be something simple like being more happier and happier. And I also tell, this is very important for your listeners, I have to mention this, and that is, first thing, you need to write down 10 things on a piece of paper that make you automatically happy. The first thing I can give you is that if you go into the nature for 20 minutes, half an hour, or sit under a tree, you automatically raise your vibration, automatically. You don't have to do anything else, just be there. That's one thing. The other things, you have to write it down, what makes you feel good. It could be a piece of chocolate. It could be a funny movie. It could be a photo. It could be one of your best friends that make you laugh all the time. It could be a dog or a cat or a baby. It could be a funny picture. It could be music. But you need to write down these 10 things. So when you feel like you're going more in a negative feeling or a lower vibration, you do one of those 10 things right away. Now, it's not telling you you have to be perfect, but it's telling you that if you're more often on a higher vibration, then you have more likely that when the earth makes that transition, you're going to be a part of that transition. And it's not going to be a transition where you wake up one morning and millions of people have disappeared. Nothing like that. It's going to be more gradual. It'll be like winter going to summer. What else did I get? Yes, so this is very important, and also selfishly, and I say that selfishly, protect your vibration. If you have a friend that brings you down all the time, don't be around that friend, but you can pray for that friend. Or if you have a boss at the job that's always negative, you can pray for that boss and you can make a difference. Now, I'll give this example. If you try to put your fist through a mountain, you can't do it, right? You can't. You just can't. But if you drop a small drop of water every day on a rock, you will put a hole in the rock. And the water is love. Okay.
And so I'm grateful for your answer. Thank you very much. I'll pass the baton. I've taken too many questions, but thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Dennis. Thank you, Greg, for your questions. Joan has her hand up. Joan, did you want to unmute and ask Dennis a question?
Sure. Hello. I'll keep it nice and quick. It's ironic that you mentioned, like, as far as taking some time out to go outside and just explore nature. Probably like for the past 2 years, I've been very drawn to glazing at the sky, like looking at the art in the sky during the day, or more so the sunsets. Like, I chase sunsets. I could never get around to the sunrise, but the sunsets, it, like, I don't know, like, it literally warms my soul and my existence in that moment. So what would you, like, with you speaking on that, and I believe there was a reason that you did, what is your perception of
it's just
that
raising
experience?
It's because it's raising your vibration, and when you raise your vibration, you become more conscious of the universe and source, God, and you become conscious of your own source within you, connecting with the beauty of source. So it's like you as you raise your vibration, what I got, love gives information. It's not just naive like some people think. Love gives information. So so this information comes to you and you're more conscious. It also opens your consciousness up when your vibration is high. You become more aware of things that you weren't aware of before because your consciousness is higher. So that's why when you go into the nature, it automatically, without you doing much, just being there, raises your vibration. And that's the whole point. When you raise your vibration, you're coming closer to that 5D consciousness.
And one more question.
Mm-hmm.
I know you speak like as far as like the Bible and the information that you receive from your download. What was your belief prior to both of your experiences, and has your experience changed your perception from your prior belief?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but I threw most of my religious beliefs out the window because a lot of it was built on fear. And I don't say that people shouldn't go to church and all that stuff. If church is giving you love and giving you joy of sharing, that's all good. That's very good. But if they're giving you fear and separation, then it's not good. Okay. And that's all I say. Any place that's going to give you love, it could be Islam, it could be whatever. But if they're teaching you also fear and separation, this is not correct. And that changed me, and also changed me about my music. I don't do it so much for this competition and to be admired. I do it more to give love to my music and hope people enjoy it. Now, through light, if it can lift somebody up or make somebody, they were feeling down, but they came to one of my shows and they had a great time and they felt good. They left on a higher vibration. So that's how it changed me. It also changed my beliefs. It took a lot of the stress off of I was trying to always live in the future, like, I have to have this and that because I want this to happen in the future. And now I live more in the present, where we are now, right now. Because right now, what we're living is the future. It's creating the future. So people always say, well, if I don't have this, I better do this now because I won't have this in the future. But they never predict their future correct anyway. So it's better to live in the present. So that's where that has changed me. So I live in the present now, and I try to keep the present as on a high vibration as possible. And that way it's changed me, and it's also gave me a lot of relief. Before my experiences, I was, quite afraid of death and quite afraid of what could happen to me, and and I understand a lot more, and to stay away from the news and all that stuff that's making you afraid about life, making you afraid to just exist even. So it's really important to be selfish about vibration and keep positive people around you, and those that you've got to face every day. Like, if you have a job and this is a lower vibrational person, you can pray for them. That's another thing I forgot to mention, is that prayer is more powerful than you realize. It has effects. It can affect your DNA. It can affect a person that might be your enemy. If you pray for them, you'll have an effect on them. And when they look at you, they won't even know why, but all of a sudden they'll feel to treat you better or to be more nicer to you. But you pray for them, and that's why I understood why Jesus was saying about praying for your enemies. It wasn't just, I hope they're going to be nice. You actually have a physical effect on them. If you pray for somebody that just hates you for no reason, you just pray for them. Not pray that something bad's going to happen, but pray that they're going to be good. Pray that they have more love in their heart. Pray because you're talking to their soul. You're not talking to their physical consciousness. When you talk to their soul, that's a whole different thing. Even you can even be looking at somebody and they're saying bad things, but you can be thinking to them, well, I'm sending you love because I know that you really are love. I'm sending you love no matter what. And let the people, people trip about sometimes, they think that I'm stupid or I'm naive, but don't care about that, because when you know the real truth, you know the bottom line to the whole thing. And the whole thing and the whole true power is love. And you can't stop love. Love will come from death to this life. That's how powerful love is. Love will communicate. Love will give information. Love will protect. And you are that love. You're made out of it. You're not the idea of it. You are it.
I enjoy hearing you talk about love and the power. People don't understand the power of love. So I definitely enjoy hearing you talk about that, Dennis. We have another hand up. We have Rebecca.
Okay.
You have a question, Rebecca?
Hello. Thank you, Dennis. This has been
Hello.
amazing. I actually wanted to share an experience I've been having since I saw you on the screen. Two things. The color you're wearing is very powerful. I'm getting like a really powerful, almost overwhelmed feeling from your color. And there's been this incredible light play going on by your window that I don't know how to explain it, but so when I meditate, I get that high elevation feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a light play going on that it keeps like powerfully, I almost feel like a clear, like there's a clearing, like I feel warm and well, like that state of meditation when you're like your head vibrates.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the first thing is that colors are powerful. That's another thing I got from the downloads. They add energy, positive energy, light blue, blue, purple, white, orange, yellow. These colors add green. They add an energy of love, energy. Whereas other colors are not so powerful. So that's why I wear purple a lot, or I wear light blue, or I wear white, or I wear green. I wear.
Yeah, I'm very connected to color. Purple is my favorite color.
Okay.
Forever, yeah.
Yeah, so I learned that colors have power, and they can help aid you in a vibration. That's why when you go into if you go into a room and it's all one color, you're going to have a reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to even feel something in that room, and it could be positive or negative, but colors have power. That's why the ancients used to use colors, certain colors, because they knew that they have power. Yeah.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you so much for that question. And thank you, Dennis, for your answer. I have a question. I wanted to ask you, Dennis. I've heard your music on YouTube, and it is divine. It does take me to another place. I wanted to ask your perspective of what music does for the soul.
Oh, good question. Some of it depends on the intent of the artist, but certain music connects you automatically to the other side. And that's why you can listen to some music and time goes by and you've been there for hours and it just feels like 5 minutes because music automatically can connect you to the other side. Now, not all music, because like I said, sometimes the intent of the artist plays a role also. But classical music and any music that's from the heart, if somebody's playing a song from the heart, you're going to feel it right away. And music is a universal language. It's a language that you don't have to speak a language. Even if you hear a song in another language, you don't know what they're saying, you can feel what they're saying. And that's why, but also music also can be used in the other way too, you know. It can give a sense of dread, it can give a sense of fear, it can give a sense of dominance, depending on the music, on the song.
Yes, I have heard that. I have heard that there is programming in music as well. So that is, again, everything you're saying is absolutely consistent. Not all music is high vibrational.
No, that's right. And you have to be careful with the words of what you're saying, because when you repeat something over and over and over again, if it's a negative consultation, I mean, that's something that I had to change too slightly. Was some songs in my repertoire that I sing it was coming from a negative or dominant energy, and I just stopped singing it because it's not really what I'm about. It's not what even if it's a popular song, if it has a negative connotation when you listen to the words, what they're saying, I stopped to do those type of songs.
So I'm going to invite anybody else, if you have a question while you guys are preparing, whoever we have not heard from, if you have a question. I did have one more question, Dennis. Mm-hmm. There is a quote in A Course in Miracles that said, "You cannot understand how much God loves you, for there is no parallel in your experience of the world to help you understand it." Having experienced the divine, having experienced Source, mm-hmm. Can you tell us of your experience of God's love for us? I think it's important for everyone to know here.
The best way I can describe it is a mother, when she holds her child or baby, that security and that love, magnify that 1,000,000 times and you come even close to the love that God has for you.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And I'm talking about the individual you. It's incredible. I can't even, like I said, when I was telling the story about my mother, I couldn't even tell that story straight, almost crying, because of it's overwhelming. You don't experience it on earth, that type of love.
Thank you for that.
But you can touch it. I have to say, through meditation, through high vibrations, you can touch it. You can dip a little bit into it, but it's not the natural love that you experience here. It's much, much more greater. So much more powerful and so much more caring and so much more sensitive and so much more not demanding and so much more, the list goes on, all at one time. And so much accepting of just who you are. One more thing I want to say to viewers, really important. You can't get this life wrong. Yes. I'll repeat. You cannot get this life wrong. Just from the fact that you are here is a big thing. It's a wonderful thing, because the other souls on the other side, they're even envious, like, wow, they actually did it. They're down there in a place that you could experience no love. You could experience being alone. You could experience fear, because on the other side, you can't experience that. So you cannot get this life wrong, because some people say, oh, maybe I'm on the wrong track or I'm on the wrong. No, you're exactly where you should be. And if you want to change that, you can change that because you have free will. But you also have destiny also, which is your soul plan, where you plan to meet this person, or you plan to, this person would be your husband, or this person would be your boyfriend, or this person would be your child, or this person, or this dog or cat would be your dog or cat, or this person would be your sister. You've already planned those things. Or this would be your best friend. But still, with those plans, you can still say, I don't want them. I don't want this to be my family, or I don't want this to be my best friend. You still have free will. But you also, there's a destiny that you plan on certain things you will come into your life. So destiny and free will both exist in this life.
Thank you so much for that. Dennis, while reading one of my favorite books, Conversations with God, book 3, God says that there is a word we use here in this dimension that does not exist in higher dimensions. He said that highly evolved beings do not have the word work in their vocabulary. If we were to go to those dimensions and ask these beings, what work do you do? They would say, what is this word work that you speak of? Work does not exist for them, and they only do that which gives them joy.
Right,
Only
exactly.
do that which raises their vibration. They only do those responsibilities that they are drawn to, and in that way, amazingly, their society functions at its highest capacity, and everyone's needs are met. And this is how I feel about today's conversation with you.
Oh, great. Oh, that's an honor. Thank you.
This is not work. You have given us joy by blessing us with your presence and your time, your love and your light. I speak for everyone when I say thank you so much for raising our collective vibration. We are walking away from this interaction with so much more enlightenment, so much truth to reflect on. We will be listening to this video over and over again. Thank you for your wisdom that you've shared with us today.
Well, I want to say thank you for having me and allowing me to tell my story and to share my experience and information. And if anybody, if any other questions, feel free to ask. And it's really a pleasure and honor, because this is something that gives me joy, is to bring these truths to light in the world that we live in, especially now, with all the changes going on and all the vibrational changes going on. And there's so much happening, and people are very confused because they don't know what's going on. And for me, it's like a wonderful responsibility to deliver this information. I was a musician. I was not looking for a spiritual path, but it happened like that. And now I'm very happy that it happened. And so I thank you for allowing me to pass this message on. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we would love for you to join us again sometime.
Oh, it would be a pleasure. And if you want to do a part 2 or a part 3, it's okay. If everybody thinks of something they didn't forgot to ask now, we can do a part 3 or something like that for your viewers and your channel. Because I believe in the work and the things that you're doing is really helping to raise the vibration and make also clarity to people in this time of confusing and changing energies. Yes.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us again. If you would like to reach Dennis to hear his incredible insights and book a session with him, his email address again is easybullock@hotmail.com. It'll be in the description box. And the link to the first part of this conversation where Dennis shares his near-death experience is also included. Thank you so much, Dennis.
Thank you so much, Loretta, and also everybody else who participated and listened. Thank you so much, and I send you light and love and positive energy to all of you, and I hope that you felt as much joy as I felt telling you this story.
Absolutely, absolutely. Love everybody. Love you.
Love. Love. Cheers. We'll talk again, Loretta.
Yes, we will. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.